Hi everyone, here is Timmy, and today I have special guest Dawn and KG, my friends.
Hello.
So, we are going to outline for NaNoWriMo, and the first question is, what are you prepping for Nano this year?
Do you want me to start?
Okay, yes.
Okay, I'll start. So supposedly I'm prepping the second book of my urban fantasy trilogy. So I have been working on that, but I've also been working on a secret project. So I'm not precisely sure what I'm going to be doing for NaNoWriMo, so that's always good.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't quite finalized what I'm doing, but I think I've mentioned this before that I wanted to write a prequel novella for my current story that I'm editing. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm finally going to get to that because I did outline it quite a while ago. So I'm at least going to start with that. And I'm still going to be editing my WIP. So I don't know if I'll work on anything else new, but I'll at least be working on the novella, and that's new. So we'll see how far that actually gets me. Knowing me, a novella will actually be 50,000 words. So, you know, it's fine.
Or 100,000.
No,
whatever.
No, please, no. God. Timmy, what are you working on?
I am going to work on my novel Roleplay, which is a Freaky Friday meets time travel when from 2019 the soul changes the place with her past life soul. They change places.
That's interesting. I like that.
I love the sound of that. I want to read it already.
Yeah.
Hi Rebecca, what are you working on? Oh, a secret project, okay. So Rebecca is working on a secret project.
I think she's talking about Dawn's secret project. Oh. Like she wants to know what Dawn's secret project is. Oh.
I will tell you at another time, Rebecca.
Oh. Everyone loves a prequel when they're done right, I think. But yeah, no, that's prequels are fun. So I'm working with my character now that he's like 13 years old in this prequel. So that's what's interesting about it is I was like, children, okay. That's different than what I was writing before. That's fine. He's still doing all the contemporary fantasy stuff though. Just he's 13, so it'll be fun.
So KJ, I have a question for you about your world building. Is your world, does it exist in our world or is it its own world?
It does. It's
okay.
I would at least say it's like our world adjacent. Okay. Like if I had to name the states, I'd probably name them the same, but because I'm doing some different stuff in the world, it's slightly different in how some stuff works, like the government and police procedure, things like that work a little bit differently in my world because if I'm going to create a world, then I would like it to work the way I want it to work. So I was like, yeah, people can't really jump in and assume it's directly our world, but it is close enough that you won't really get lost in it. So it's our world until it's not our world. I'll say that.
Okay. I like that. That's really cool.
Interesting. It sounds really interesting.
Yeah, that you'd think I wouldn't have to be doing so much world building since it's primarily set in like our world, and yet that is all I have been doing is world building.
Yes, but it is still fiction, so even if it's our world, there are elements that maybe aren't in the actual world.
Definitely. That's what I'm trying to get a wrangle on, is all the elements that are magic and fae and all the creatures, and just, yeah, there's a lot going on in the world, so that's fun.
That's really cool. I love books that have fae in them.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite fantasy elements, which funnily enough, I never use, but I love reading.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I don't really, I take some of like the traditional elements that you see in like Celtic folklore or the Germanic folklore, but I'm also doing my own thing. So the only thing I've really taken from that are the seasons and like who's in power at the time. But outside of that, I'm just like, oh, just wait till you see these fae. I'm just doing whatever I want. And I was like, they're non-human. What do you want from them? All right, they can do whatever they want, and that's how they live their lives. So I like it, especially when you can do different things with it, you know. And it's like, it's fantasy. It's fantasy. You can do whatever you want, and I like to see fae and other creatures that are done differently. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do for even like the werewolves or the vampires. I have different mythology for them and the way they behave in this world. So it's not really going to be what other people are used to, I guess. So it's somewhere in between the like traditional monster style and like the Twilight sparkly vampire. It's somewhere in between what people are expecting on those two ends. So
that's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, with mine, I feel like I'm in the same boat with vampires and werewolves because I use a lot of the elements that are popular and that are recognized, but I also like try to give it my own flavor.
Good.
But my vampires are weird because they start out very much like what you expect. You know, they're scary monsters and whatever, but then there's like this twist you find out at the end about them. So I'm hoping that'll come across really well and it'll be interesting to the readers.
Well, that sounds interesting. Gotta love a good twist at the end.
Hopefully, or they'll get to it and be like, what?
Oh yeah, Rebecca, because Rebecca said she's maybe not actually doing NaNoWriMo, but she's still working on her own stuff. So working on Crucible, and she loves her cutesy, pretty Disney fairies. I have some of those too. Don't worry. That's why it's like, yeah, I've got Dark and Mischievous, but yeah, I like that. The Disney fairies are good too. But that's why I think it's fun to take your
positive fairies.
yeah.
Fairies are not.
I'm not going for like, oh, they're super dark and murdery. Some of them are, but like for the most part, I was like, they're just trying to live, and they're nature spirits. So it's like they're supposed to be not good or bad, but you know, that's what they are. They're supposed to be more neutral, but you know, you always got those bad seeds somewhere along the way. Or like, oh, those are fun to work with. But yeah, no, that's why I like taking inspiration from lots of different places, because people do like the Disney style stuff, and it's like I'm sort of incorporating that a little bit too. So yeah.
Have you read Natalia Lee's Song of the Dryad?
I recently purchased it along with a couple other AuthorTubers books. Rebecca's might be one of them. So I have yet to read them though. I got them right before my birthday, so that's something I still want to read.
Because I love it how she described the fairies in her story.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to that, since she describes it as like kind of like a cozy, like fairy tale, and I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Hi, Amara. Yes, Rebecca, your book. I wish I had it on my shelf behind me, but it's on they're all on a nice shelf in my living room.
Yeah, mine's upstairs. My copy is always up on display on my bookshelf. Oh, that sounds so cute, Amara. I love cutesy tattoos.
Where's your tattoo? If you could tell us.
Yeah, there's always like a lag.
Oh.
And she looks like
she
me.
looks like it. That's cute. Lower
Lower
back.
back. Cute.
Well, maybe you are a fairy, Amara. Who knows?
I wouldn't be surprised. All right. Do we know what Amara's working on for Nano? I can't remember.
Amara is continuing to work on her current whip. She's going to try to finish it this month or in November.
Okay, cool.
So I think she can do it. You can do it, Amara.
You can do it.
I believe
We're
in you.
cheering for you.
If I could do it, you could do it. Because I am a dumpster fire. So
Oh yes, Dawn and I over here. Lock in the dumpster fires. It's fine. It's all good.
yeah.
We're like, yes, that's us. We're here. We're rocking it. It's good.
My aesthetic. It's no big deal.
Oh, people are like, yeah, what's your aesthetic? It's like, yeah, the
Dumpster.
dumpster fire. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yep.
Oh man.
Should we start our first sprint?
Yeah, let's do it.
I was thinking about 20 minutes. Is it good for you?
I'm happy with 20.
I'm okay.
Okay. So let's just put the timer for 20 minutes. Oh, this is not. You can talk until then
We're
about
having
your
technical
project.
difficulties. No, it's hard to do like the share a screen and stuff and make sure it actually comes out okay. So it's still a learning experience. This is like our second live that we're actually doing. So still learning, still learning.
I know, it's so stressful to try to figure everything out.
I've got it.
Yay!
Okay. Yay!
So beautiful.
Okay. So let's start.
Okay.
So it's up. Okay. How did it go?
Okay.
I wanted to ask, what kind of outline method do you use?
My own?
Can you take it down? Anybody? Anyone?
So I use a pretty basic method because I'm a planter, so I don't like to over outline. So I just I write down my 4 major plot points and then I just fill in details between them. So it's not a very stressful type of outlining. It's very flexible and it works for me.
Yeah, that's basically what I do. I don't do extremely detailed outlines because, yeah, I tend to discover as I write. So my outlines are just really loose because I know things always end up changing. So I mostly just start with the characters and figure out what their journey is supposed to be, and I get the plot points like from there. That's why it doesn't always fit beat sheets, but it works for me so far. So
yeah, I don't use the beat sheets either.
Yeah.
And I've like avoided reading them because I'm afraid that I would try to outline my stories based on them and it would just mess me up.
Yeah.
And do you have a preferred, I don't know how to ask it, so I will show it. Do you have a preferred format? I use this kind of colorful cards and I put it in order. And when I dictate, I only look at the given scene. And after that, I put it behind and I read the next one.
I like that.
Yeah.
They only look like this. I don't know. You cannot even understand it because it's in Hungarian, but so that I know. I'm a planter too, so I don't like to make detailed outlines. But this give me confidence in my writing, so that I have it there and I know where am I.
Well, that's good.
Really like
I used to use like index cards or post-it notes when I really needed to be rearranging scenes because it gets confusing. But right now I kind of just take whatever like plot point I'm on and like copy and paste that into the document that I'm working on, just so that I see like that paragraph of information as I'm writing the scene. And I just keep moving that down. And then when I finish that scene, I delete that and then put in the next chunk that I'm supposed to be writing, just so that it's something that I can see. Like I could just have a note card with me, but for some reason that's what works for me, is having that right where I'm writing so I can see where I'm supposed to be going.
Gotcha. Huh, that's really interesting. No, I'm pretty boring. I use a Google Doc so that, I can easily edit my outline if I decide I don't like where I put one scene. But then when I actually go to write it, I have a separate document and I'll just switch back and forth. Mm-hmm.
So Evie is trying to use the Save the Cat and story engineering.
I want to hear how that goes, Evie. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely like to hear how that goes too, because I'm reading Save the Cat and it's not working for my current story really. So, but my current story is really complicated with multiple point of views, and I'm having a hard time matching up what I think are the plot points with those beats. So it'll be interesting to see how other people are able to use it, because at least right now I'm not able to. Maybe on a future project it'll work, but yeah.
I feel like the Save the Cat, all the beats works if you've just got a basic premise.
Yeah.
But if you've already got something that's pretty well planned out and then you start trying to fit them in with the beats, it doesn't work very well.
Yeah, because I sit there and I'm like, is that my plot point one? because I have a whole bunch of stuff happening before that. So then I was like, I don't know. Like, I could imagine trying to plot like my contemporary adult romance that I'm doing to try to save the cat, since I haven't outlined it yet, and that's a more straightforward plot for me. Romance, like one subplot that's happening. I was like, maybe that'll be easier than 3 plots, 3 subplots, and me going, I don't know.
Yeah. I love Peggy's comment. I really want to see her video about unpopular opinions on Save the Cat. I think it's gonna be so
I really
funny.
want to see that, because I feel like so many people raved about it, and I sat there after I started reading it and I was like, well, okay, like I see how it can be helpful, but this definitely is not for every writer, the way they're like, everyone has to read this. And I'm like, meh. So yeah, I'm there with you, Peggy. Unpopular opinions.
I'm so excited for that video. I hate the mentality that there's one correct way to write. You know, like you preach that way and it's like, this is the only acceptable way. It's like, no, that's not how that works.
Right.
You know, there's a million different things that work for different people, you know?
Yes.
That's true.
And that is how new things are born, because if you make a new style of outlining or preparing for writing, then that's a new one and you can share it with others, and
Yeah,
that is going to become another structure.
I figured that's what's going to end up happening with me when I'm done like experimenting with different outline methods, is like I'm going to find what works for me, like after trying all these different methods, you know? So somewhere, somehow, I'll figure out my own style for this. But I do agree with Evie that maybe if you're starting out and you just have the characters and no like real plot that you're trying to like smush into it, that maybe it's easier to fill it out going along with the beats. So
yeah,
I can see that. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how that goes for Evie. And
then I can consider myself lucky, because until now I tried all my stories to put on the beats and they matched. So that is why I am using the Save the
that's really good.
method, because my stories fit them. And I use also, where is it? I don't know where I put it, but from K.M. Wieland. I love her style too, because she has the 3 acts, but those 3 acts are more in detailed version. So I use several structures and I watch how they complete each other.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Sarah Cannon on Heart Breathings mentions
K.M.
Wieland, that she's read that book and took a lot of good information for how she outlines like a book and starts with the characters, and so she got a lot of information from that book, she said. And so I haven't read that one yet, but that's on my list.
I love that she doesn't only have books with texts, but she has workbooks.
Workbooks, yeah.
It's somewhere here. Yes, it's here. So this is how it looks like.
Structuring a novel workbook. Okay.
And you have places to fill it out and text, but it's a workbook.
That's interesting. Okay.
I only bought the workbooks because I didn't need the long versions. Let's see what others are saying in the comments.
Amara was in the grocery store, so she wanted to know what we were talking about.
We're talking about you, Amara.
Oh, she said for Save the Cat, it gave her structure, but she hasn't been looking at her outline because it's full of plot holes. So and I'm like, yeah, same.
Oh, plot holes, the bane of my existence.
I love that.
Yes.
Evie, that's what I'm doing. I just try all the craft books, trying to figure out how you want to tell the story instead of just like,
Yes.
like I can make the characters, but I need to make sure that the story flows right. But yeah.
But you know that there is plot-driven books and there are character-driven books. So
True.
maybe the plot in your story it's not that important like the characters. And if your main focus is on the characters, they will go with the plot, or the plot will go with them. I want to say.
Yeah, I don't really know how to write one that's not character-driven, I guess, because my plots come from my characters. So
Yeah.
like that's one of those things where I was like, I don't know how you make it so that the plot doesn't come from the characters, because I guess that's the only way that I really know how to instinctually craft the story, is that I was like, this is what the character's journey is, and I can see where the important plots are from that, going, this is important. So I don't know, it's like I plot with the characters first, and then from there I pull out the actual like main events. So that's what I have to do. I don't know. But
Gotcha.
Peggy, don't be so harsh on yourself.
I don't think you actually had like really plot holes. So I think you're being too hard on yourself. I think plot holes are the things that like break your story sometimes, where you're like, oh no, like I've done it all wrong. There's a huge plot hole. You're like, I gotta go back from the beginning and try to figure out how to save this because I just wrote a plot hole. And I think that happens a lot for like fantasy writers, because we're dealing with a lot of stuff that we're making up. So then we don't know that we're writing a plot hole until we do. And then we're like, oh no,
Yeah.
did I break everything?
Yeah, I hate that, where you accidentally make an inconsistency to one of your roles and you're like, dang it, but this is important to the plot.
Yeah, so you're like, I
Yes.
need to figure out how to squeeze this in. Otherwise, yeah, it's just going to remain a plot hole. But yeah.
That's so frustrating.
Oh my God. Peggy, what are you saying?
No, we like your characters, Peggy. Don't worry. You're too hard on yourself. But yeah, that's okay.
Is this Project Whiskey you're talking about, Peggy?
I think so, because that's the only
Okay.
one I've read, I think.
Okay.
So
I didn't get to read that one because I'm a loser, but I'll read it when it's published. So that'll be exciting.
well, Peggy might be doing another round of
Oh, okay.
betas.
Then maybe I'll be able to.
it
I'm a
was
terrible beta reader though, so I don't know if anyone wants me.
Well, I hear differently from Evie. Evie says you're being a great critique partner for her. So I think you're
Yeah.
very good at beta reading.
I just feel bad because my first experience was with Rayleigh, and I feel like all my feedback was like, I like this scene. It was nice.
Well, sometimes that's what they need to hear, because people like me are going to be pointing out the things that are wrong.
Yeah,
that
I'm
you're
so
like,
scared.
I think you should fix this. But so they need the people going, I really like this scene, because admittedly, like there were times where it was like, I might not have said anything for the entire scene. And at the bottom, I was like, the scene was solid. It was good. I liked it, And then the next scene I'm pointing out, I'm like, no, like, here's how you could probably fix this. So yeah, no, I think you definitely need beta readers who are looking at the good stuff as well, instead of just being more critical and trying to help it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always critical, trying to help the scenes and the characters be the best they can be, but sometimes you just need the cheerleaders as well that are just like, yeah, I like this scene. Like, it's going good. I like the characters. sometimes you just need that.
I guess so. Thanks for making me feel better.
I'm sure Rayleigh, I'm sure Rayleigh will feel better getting to your comments and reading them and going, oh, and that'll be a nice break in between all of the critical comments. Like, she'll be like, I liked Don's comments. They were so nice.
Oh man. No, I'm scared. If I ever get done with revising and do beta reading for the network, I'm scared to have you read it, KJ. Because I feel like you're gonna be like, meh.
I'm not that mean. But no, but because I do know the genre, I think that would be fun though, because especially since I know you're doing something different, and every time I hear you talk about it though, I'm like, I want to read this. Like so I'm like excited for it. But yeah.
I totally agree with Rebecca.
Yeah.
Oh, this is me.
Exactly.
Me too.
I was so scared when I sent 2 chapters now to Evie, but the first chapter I sent to her, I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna rip this apart and I'm just gonna cry and I'm never gonna want to write again. But she was really nice. And so was Rebecca.
Yeah, you do need the nice ones, and sometimes I feel bad when I look back and I'm like, yeah, from the very beginning, like I was kind of tearing up Rayleigh's book from like the very beginning. But as she went, I had to do that less and less. And that's what was nice about it, because you could see like the growth in it. And so it's like by the end of it, I was like, you know what, you can take my comments that I made, but also here's a simpler way to fix all of that if you want to avoid the jumble, you know? And I think her plan ended up being somewhere along those lines. So I was like, it'll be good, don't worry. Beginnings are always rough. So that's the thing. It's like you're trying to set the scene, set the characters, get the story and the action going so people are interested and involved. And that's always hard to do from the start. So I was like, yeah, first chapters, prologues, whatever, they always need a little bit more work than like the rest of the book, I feel like.
Oh, sorry guys. There goes my dog.
Barking.
My husband just got home. Do we want to do another writing sprint?
That's what I wanted to ask.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, Peggy,
Okay,
I'm glad you liked my comments. So I try to help at least. Sometimes I feel like I'm too harsh, but I try not to be. Like, try to sandwich it, you know? Good stuff, bad stuff. It's okay. It's all good. All right. Yeah, I'm ready for...
Another 20 minutes, is it okay?
I'm good with that.
Okay. So we are going to start now. Puppy! Let's show Buffy too. So time's up. And until the last minute, I forgot to put there the banner.
Oh, that's okay.
But now I am going to put it there. So how did it go?
I'm pretty well. My husband came home right at the beginning of it, so I really only sprinted for like 15 minutes because I was like, "What's up, husband? How's your life?" All that. How about you, KJ?
Okay. I kind of outlined the chapters for my novella prequel, so there are 7 chapters, as far as I know.
Okay.
But I realized like I was trying to write down like beats, but I have 2 resolutions. I literally wrote down resolution 1 and resolution 2. Because it's like I'm resolving the story, but then I have to give people like not really cliffhangers, because I don't really want to give people cliffhangers, but they're close to that. It's like a resolution that shows you it's not actually done. So like it's like I do resolve it and then I'm like, oh no, just kidding.
Gotcha. Because this is a prequel, right?
It is a prequel, yeah. And it's funny because it's like this is something you don't find out until book 2 or 3 in the series. So I don't know like when I'll actually release this information, but it's pretty interesting. And if you do read it first, I'm like, it gives you an idea of what we're working with the series and things that do play into the series later on, because I can never just have someone show up in the series once. Like they have to have an actual importance, I guess, and show up again. There's no throwaway characters in my books. I'm not really sure why.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
looks like Rebecca just commented that she hit 51K on her second draft.
woohoo!
That's
Yay,
freaking awesome.
congrats.
I wish
Yay!
that's where I was on my second draft. Rebecca.
I wanted to show what Amara said just before we started the outlining.
Useless husband.
Oh my god.
That's
I
about the
just don't
feedback
like
I get
it.
when I show
What
my
is
husband
it?
stuff. So silly.
That's funny though, that yeah, you get it's good in the moment, and then later it's like, well, you could have fixed this, and it's like, well, why didn't you tell me when you were reading it? What is the point of asking you? Oh.
That reminds
I
me,
don't
it's my turn to do the next beat.
Oh, it is? Yeah.
I need to do it. Sorry, I keep cutting you off, Timmy. What were you trying to say?
What is- I just wanted to say I don't like when people just say it's good
It's like, okay, thanks.
and they don't
It's like,
elaborate.
yeah, why is it good? What did you like about it? Characters, plot, anything? So you know what you're doing right, or like it's just a general, yeah, it's good. Like I've gotten that from a lot of people where they're like, yeah, it reads like a book, and I'm just like, I'm writing a book, so I hope it reads like a book. Like I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. I was like, is that good or bad?
Yeah, I feel like I got that same comment from my husband where he's like, yeah, it seems very booky. And I was like,
Yeah, like
okay.
that's what I'm writing.
Like so helpful. But he's not a writer, so like
Right.
he's not sure what kind of feedback to
Yeah.
give, you know.
Well, yeah, but he's a reader, no?
Yeah, but he doesn't even read the things that are similar to what I write.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
I understand that.
he likes classic stuff like Dante's Inferno and the Iliad and stuff. He's
Wow.
very niche with his interests.
Well, that's funny though, because it's like I can't really ask family members what they think anymore, just because even if they're readers, they don't read what I write. And that's why I was like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Please don't read it. Like you're not gonna like it because it's not your thing, and you're still gonna want to feel the pressure to be like, yeah, it's good, I think, even though it's not what I read. Because I was like, I don't want that. Like I want someone who enjoys the genre, and I write pretty dark stuff, so that's why I was like, yeah, it's not for everybody, and it's okay, family. Like it's okay. I'd rather have good criticism from people who like the genre, who read and write the genre, than readers who are like achy with gore and stuff. I'm like, okay, well, don't read this then. Like,
no, I'm in the same boat because my one of the main characters in my urban fantasy is
Rebecca.
Oh, bye, Rebecca.
Thank you for being here with us, and congrats again on your draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we want to know how it's going. Okay, what were you saying?
Oh, sorry. I'm spacey. I was saying one of the main characters is former military, so he swears a lot, and none of my family uses profanity. So they're like, oh, we want to read it. I'm like, I don't think you do.
Yeah.
So that's something that'll be interesting.
That's funny. Yeah, no, when I was first writing, I didn't include profanity, I think because I was aware that like family was going to read it, but then after a while I was like, this character wants to swear, I'm sorry, like I can't stop him, so it's just got to be in there. So after a while I was like, I stopped curbing myself to other people's expectations, so I was like, I have to write the story and the characters the way they want to be written. It doesn't matter if my family doesn't want to read like anything of that nature. I'm like, I gotta do it.
Yeah, you can't tailor it just to your family, or you'll never write what you actually want to write.
Exactly.
No, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
Timmy, does your family read your writing?
Not yet. I haven't even read my own writing. But I had 108 days project of gratitude last year, and I posted for 108 days in every day.
Wow.
And that they read it and they loved it. But that is non-fiction, so the fiction, they didn't read it yet.
Gotcha.
It took me almost a half year or something like that to even tell them that I am writing. So yeah, and a lot of people don't even know still.
So yeah. Well, you get a lot of different reactions when you tell people that you're writing a book. So yeah, I kind of stopped telling people that that's what I'm doing, just because I was like, I don't know what kind of response I'm going to get from from them, like oh, or me too. And I'm like, and then if I do actually try to talk to them about writing books, I'm like, oh, you're not actually writing a book. Okay, never mind. Like I need to talk to someone who's actually writing a book. Like, so we have something in common, because my writers group got canceled out here. So there was only like 2 of us that showed up, but it was like, I was still the only one writing a book. Everyone else was in a planning stage and like far off planning. Like they didn't think they were going to get to write the book for another couple of years. And I was like, okay, I'm trying to finish editing my first draft. So like my second draft, and they're like, oh, so it's like, we just weren't at the same writing level at the time, like the same stages of writing. So it was hard for me to talk about where I was at the draft and what issues I was having when they hadn't drafted anything yet. And I was like, oh, I can help with outlining, sort of. But so I was like, yeah, I've stopped telling people that I write books so much, because I got a lot of different responses.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and my friends, a few days ago, I told them, well, I need writer friends, because I cannot talk with you about it. And they said, but we are your friends. And I started talking about my book, and they said, okay, enough, that is too much.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, non-writers don't don't get it. Like, even if they're like, I can help you, it's like, you can try. I don't know if you'll be interested once we actually start going. That's especially happens to me where people are like, brainstorm with other people. And I'm like, I've got a lot to brainstorm. And once I start talking about it, everyone, you just get the glazed look over their eyes. And I was like, I lost them.
No,
I lost
I've
them
had that.
in the complex notes of what's happening in the story. So that's fine.
Yeah, I just still have a hard time even talking about any of my like ideas with people. Like going on AuthorTube and telling, you know, about the network was a really big deal for me because I don't tell people. I was like, no, don't want to do that because I was afraid, you know, you'd say it and then somebody would say, that's really stupid. Like that doesn't make any sense, you know. Which I don't know if anyone would actually do that, but you never know.
Some troll somewhere would probably come along and say that, but no, the average writer who's watching your videos would probably never say that, I don't think.
Yeah. No, I've loved being on AuthorTube and feeling like we have our own little club, our writers club, you know, because if you don't have anyone locally, it just kind of sucks.
Yes, I don't have anyone.
Well, yeah. So that's what I really enjoy is, our group, and especially now that we're doing live write-ins and stuff, I feel much more productive, and like I will actually be able to like keep on it instead of working one day here and then not working for a week. Like, no, NaNoWriMo, I need to actually work.
No, I'm excited. I think I'll be really productive now that we do so many sprints together.
Definitely.
Yeah. I cannot wait for it.
I was just saying, I can't wait once we have like a schedule. I think Timmy's got her schedule pretty well finalized for sprints here on YouTube and on Instagram.
I hope nothing comes as an obstacle.
I will try to be there as often as possible.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I mean, in my part in my life, it doesn't keep something away from doing it.
You know, if stuff comes up, that's always a possibility. So don't stress too much about that, Timmy. Like, we'll always be there for the next one if something happens and you have to cancel. Like, don't stress about it. Because that's how I feel trying to put a schedule down, and I'm just like, I'll wait for other people's schedules to see what they're doing. Otherwise, I'm planning on hopping on Instagram a little bit more often than just YouTube. So we'll see how that goes. Seeing as my Instagram stories is like not working. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. That's ridiculous.
Maybe the internet it's overloaded because you are live with us and you are on the YouTube too, and maybe
I tried to post the first one that like an announcement for this sprint before we were online, so it should have worked, but but my phone just keeps doing like posting, and I'm like, no one's ever going to see this, are they? Like, it's just going to sit there posting forever, and there's nothing I can do with it. Like, I can't stop it. I can't try to stop and delete it because it just still says it's posting. And I'm like, okay, so somebody let me know when it finally posts, because I'm eager to know if it takes all day or the next day.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So maybe doing it live will be easier. That way I don't have to, I don't know, wait for my Instagram stories to catch up, I guess. So, yeah.
I think that slowly we can say goodbye, because I think we are only the ones that I...
Is it just us now?
I think so.
3 people are watching us.
It's us. That's okay. I feel bad because I think Evie said she was going to try to pop back on like after dinner, but...
And we can always do just a private one later.
That's true.
You know, if people want to.
Continue now the private one.
Yeah. Like, I'm okay to keep going. So, but I think this is good for the live stream.
Yes. 1 hour and a half, it's enough.
Yeah. And Timmy, if you want to put our information for Dawn and me in the description
course,
as well, that way people who find this afterwards will know who we are, because I'm not sure that I even introduced myself. I was zoning out.
I don't think I introduced myself either. I just was like, hi.
Yeah, you're like, hi. And I just didn't even do that. I was like, oh, wait, we're introducing ourselves. I got distracted by watching like the 10-second lag on the actual YouTube. I was like, what are we doing? I don't know. Okay, so yeah. All right, I had a lot of fun. I was able to do some outlining, so that's productive.
Coming.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. I like being the co-host. I don't know how I'll feel about like actually hosting, but like co-hosting is fun.
You will not be alone.
I will not be alone. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. All right. Well,
okay,
yeah.
so let's say bye to everyone who is watching.
Thank you for watching.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.